everyone we create. So are you ready to be free?
Yes.
Take a deep breath and we'll repeat our treatment for freedom together aloud. I speak my word for myself, my center, and all its members and friends. I know love as the only reality. I am created out of love. Love is what I am. I know this love as absolute freedom in every area of my life, the life of my center, and all who call it home. I know our center's mortgages are paid in full, and I claim for all of us financial freedom with all debts paid and cleared. I release any sense of struggle or wrongdoing. I live in an abundant universe where there is more than enough for all. We experience freedom in every moment by always having more than enough money, vibrant health, and loving relationships. We are who we have come here to be. With hearts open wide, we see the world through the eyes of love. We are blessed, we are rich, and we are free. And so it is. And we practice our points of power. I always pay attention. I always tell the truth and tell it quickly. I always ask for what I want when I want it. I always take total responsibility for my experience. I always keep my agreements. And so it is. Yes, 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 yes. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. It's a good morning. If you claim it, you'll have it. You know, name it good, claim it good. I love the stories that we got to share yesterday from our members coming in. And yeah, you missed some of that, John. Trying to get back from California from Reverend Nirvana's memorial service where people gathered from far and wide to celebrate the life of someone who stood clear on science of mind and religious science and gave his life to teaching people these principles. And then here we are yesterday listening to people who say, I moved to Asheville, North Carolina for this center, for you, for this teaching. And truly, it just makes me sit back and go, wow, I'm so glad we started this. Back in 1995, I'm so glad we started this in our living room. And then we dealt with being in a trailer out in the middle of nowhere. People would call and say, I've tried for 3 weeks to find that place. I can't find it, and I'm not going to try anymore. And then we moved here and built without a nickel to our name. We still built. We didn't know you couldn't build a multi-million-dollar facility without any money. And yet, because we didn't know we couldn't do it, we did it. And we kept the doors open and stayed clear on principle and treated our way through every problem that we've ever had. And what we get is Jan and Dan moving here from Wisconsin to be a part of this family. We get Jan and Michael moving here from Massachusetts to be a part of this family. We get Sylvia and Joe O'Neill, who I believe were the first people I knew about that moved here from this gorgeous home right on one of the lakes. I'm not sure which one it was, that they built with their own two hands, and they found this center and said, nope, we're going to move there and be a part of this community. We get Dave and Ann, who live in Connecticut, who are setting things in motion. They've been here once, and they're back here for the second time, and they say, okay, we're moving. We're moving to Asheville. We're going to be a part of this community because being among like-minded people is so important. And I'm just curious, who has moved to Asheville for this center? Wow. We have Betty and Troy. We have Carol Levine moved here. What?
From
from Virginia. We've got Jackie Sachs from Fort Lauderdale. Roxanne and Robert, didn't you move here from Maui to be a part of this center?
From Hawaii. We started coming here before we even moved.
Yes, yes. Sue and David moved here to be a part of, what?
We didn't know it at the time.
You didn't know it at the time. Okay, how many people moved here and didn't know they were moving here for the center at the time? Yeah, that's true for me too. I thought I was just running away from ministry, but see how that worked. And so I'm reflecting on this amazing teaching that we have that says it's always an inside job, that our good is never contingent, as Thomas Troward would say, upon any person, place, or thing. It's not about the outside, whether or not the sun is shining or it's raining, whether or not the person did what you thought they were going to do or they did something else, whether the letter that was in the mailbox was a surprise or a different kind of surprise. Our good is never contingent upon the outside, and for me that is so empowering, because then we get to go back to what Ernest Holmes called first cause and create our lives from that point of causation, irregardless of what the circumstances are, because the circumstances in our lives are old news. They are the creations of a moment ago, creations of a lifetime ago maybe, but they are not current events. It looks like current events. The whole idea of current events is a misnomer. This is old news in our lives, and every moment we are fresh to create anew. Doesn't matter how involved it is, how much it looks like that'll never change. This is a place where miracles become typicals, where we think the unthinkable and do the impossible. This is what we do because we have discovered that there's a power and a presence within us that we can use to manifest our lives. The whole basic premise of Science of Mind is oneness. And if we are all one, if everything is all one, then the outer is one with the inner. The outer is a reflection of the inner. It's stuck on a little bit of a delay because we are in time and space, which is why the outer is old news. But the outer always reflects the inner because there is only one. If there is only one, then all that God is us now. Breathe. The implications of that are extraordinary. Spirit plus nothing equals spirit, because there's nothing outside of spirit. In quantum physics, it says in order for a unified field to exist, it must exist in its totality at every point simultaneously. Wow! That means that all of God is present at the point of view right now. All the power is yours. All of the creative force is yours. All of the prosperity, all of the health, all of the happiness, all of the joy is you right now. And if you think I've got to go find it because somehow I'm lacking, then through that power, we create a sense of lack. It's amazing that we can be the light and create the illusion of darkness. It's fascinating to me. It's fascinating to me that we can be created out of infinite substance and still have the power to create the illusion of poverty. We are so amazing. Whenever people come to see me and they go, well, I don't have enough, I go, wow, you are so powerful that you have gone against infinite supply and you have managed to manifest an experience of lack. You are amazing. They don't usually come back. If there's only love, and we can create a feeling of disconnect, of alienation, of sadness, of anger, of upset, look at the power that we wield. But does it change the fact that there's only love, that there's only prosperity, that there's only light? No. We're like the little child who is not developmentally mature yet, who goes, you can't see me. If we close our eyes to the truth, it doesn't make the truth go away. Now, it changes our experience of truth. I'll give you that. But the way to get out of there is to open up your eyes, to wake up. Look around, there's beauty in the world, wake up. What is that Cher scene that goes through my head so often with Moonstruck? Whack, snap out of it. All we have to do is snap out of it. And what we looked at as an insurmountable problem, once we snap out of that mindset that says, it's impossible, we can't do that, then the solution is there. When we look at something that has no answer, and we open up to the idea that there's an answer to every question, every problem, the answer is there because the answer was always there. Because spirit plus nothing equals spirit. It's all spirit. It's all God, and it's our job to see that. It's our job to bring that forth through us into our world, and we do it through our thoughts, through our words, through our deeds. And if we are willing to focus on our thoughts, change our thoughts, speak different words, and take different actions in our life, we will have a different life. You cannot stop it. I don't care what your background was. I don't care what your genetic predisposition is. I don't care who told you what. You cannot stop it. There is a power and a presence within each and every one of us that will lift us over everything. I love what Ernest said. I love the original textbook. And in the original textbook, having created 10 hours of recording of that, which is available for free on our website, in lesson 2, in the introduction, in the first paragraph, he says, mental science, the science of mind and spirit, makes a tremendous claim when it states that it can free the individual from the bondage of illness, poverty, and unhappiness. But it makes that claim without hesitation, without qualification. It does not back down from it, and it never will. Doesn't matter where you're born, doesn't matter what country you live in. David Cameron Gikandi grew up in Kenya under a dictator, living in a hut, and he had a good life. His dad was a doctor. He grew up in the middle of a poor, limiting experience where the electricity would only come on for a couple of hours a day, and he was trying to create an online business where internet was just so sporadic that all the work that he would do was gone in an instant, and it didn't stop him. Because we make a claim that says if you learn how to think, you will change your life. You want to learn how to have money? Learn how to think. You want to learn how to have a healthy body? Learn how to think. You want to learn how to have loving relationships? Learn how to think. Don't go and say, what can I get from you? That's not the way life works. Life works with what can I bring into my life. If I want love, I've got to bring it into my world. If I want happiness, I've got to bring it into my world. If I want peace, I've got to bring it into my world. If I want more money, I have to bring that energy into my world. And if you do that, you will have the outside completely change. Completely change. It is my greatest love to be involved in this teaching. This teaching that it seems so simple. Just stop it and do something different. Just stop doing what you're doing that hurts you. Stop beating your head against the wall. Stop thinking thoughts that hurt you. And do something that lifts you. Look at the beauty. Look at the joy. Look at the love. You are in such an easy place to do that because you get to come here and we remind you, and we remind you, and we remind you, and we inspire you, and we uplift you, and we call you on your stuff, and we tell you who you've come here to be. And then you become that, and everything changes. I love this teaching. I love that there are people in this world that will sell everything they own, that they will spend 6 months without their wife, often in tears, so that they can be together. That they will come from Colorado and be together in a community that says, we see you as God sees you. We see you perfect, whole, and complete. I don't care what the doctors say. I don't care what the checkbook says. I don't care what your parents said. We see you as God sees you. And what that does is that allows us to completely shift. And so, David, I have a little gift for you. David studied with Raymond Charles Barker in New York City, and then Stuart Grayson, who took the big Manhattan church over. It was Raymond Charles Barker and Eric Butterworth, and thousands of people would come together every Sunday. And it didn't really matter so much which side you went to, the energy and the buildings were vibrant. And then you got to be with Stuart Grayson, and I want to share a quote for you. Stuart Grayson says, "Ideas move faster than rockets and penetrate more swiftly and deeply than laser beams. Ideas can change the direction of life, move the consciousness from despair to hope to upward flight. Ideas are power." So I give you an idea today. It's all an inside job. Nothing is on the outside but your consciousness. And if you shift on the inside, the outer will be called miraculous. And so it is.